Aviva Siegel was freed after 51 days in captivity by Hamas, but she is still in agony.
Leaders of the world, you walking, start running. You need to run. I'm a human being. I've got a heart. I'm finished. And I can't even think about if I feel like this, what Keith feels.
Thank you very much for talking to us.
The 63-year-old said she wanted to tell her story to keep up the pressure so her husband Keith and the other hostages can come home. Aviva and Keith, who will have his 65th birthday this week, lived in the community of Kfar Aza near Israel's border with Gaza for 4 decades. They had just woken up on October the 7th when Hamas gunmen attacked.
I remember saying to Keith, they're walking here, just next to the door. They just opened the door like any door opens, and they pushed themselves inside. There must have been 15 of them, with guns, with knives.
At least 60 people were murdered that day in Kfar Aza. Keith and Aviva were taken, the gunmen forcing them into their own car and driving them to Gaza, wearing nothing but their pajamas.
Keith and I were moved 13 times, so we met lots of terrorists. Each of one of them were worse than the other. They were like monsters. One of the times, they took us down into a tunnel. It was just the 3 of us, Keith and I and a girl that was with us. It was nearly completely and utterly dark with no oxygen. They didn't bring us water to drink. They didn't bring us food. They just left us there. And I can't explain what that feeling is, that you're lying there and you feel that it's going to be your last breath and that you're going to die.
At best, she says, they often only got 1 meal a day, usually pita bread. When it was time to be relocated, they were dressed in traditional Arab clothing and moved through Gaza's streets.
One of the times we were brought into a house and one of the doors was closed and we could hear some children and a mother, and they used to close the door while the mother used to go to the bathroom, but we knew they were there.
I know as the weeks have passed since your release, you've spoken more and more about some of the violence that you witnessed, not just involving yourself, but also involving others, including women and including sexual violence. What can you tell me specifically about that?
One of the girls went to the bathroom, and when she came back, I could see that something happened. I gave her a hug, knowing that I'm not allowed to hug, because we weren't allowed to. We weren't allowed to do anything. We just had to sit or lie down on the mattress and not move. She was very quiet for a couple of hours, and then she came up to me and she whispered and she said, he told me not to say anything. And he said that if I do, he's going to kill me. He touched me. I can't tell you how hard it was for me not being able to mother them, to look after them, because I wasn't allowed to.
On the 50th day in captivity, she was told by one of her captors that she alone would be returning to Israel. Keith's freedom was not part of that deal.
I went to Keith. He was lying on a mattress on the floor. And I gave him a hug. And I told him that I'm going, that he said that I'm going to Israel, and that he has to be strong for me, and I'm going to be strong for him.
Since her release, Siegel has campaigned relentlessly for the hostages still in Gaza to be freed. She visited Washington to speak to U.S. lawmakers and the United Nations in Geneva. But as the painful months of negotiations have dragged on, there is still no hostage deal.
I've been back for nearly 5 months. Keith is there, 5 months without me. We've been married for 43 years. Keith needs me. I need him. His grandchildren need him. His kids need him. His family needs him. And he's still there going through hell. We don't even know if Keith is alive. We don't know.
The last week, Israel's been preoccupied with Iran and other issues that have not been Hamas or the hostages, how difficult has this period been for you?
Very difficult. It's been very difficult because I just want Keith home. And anything that'll happen that won't bring Keith home is very bad for me.
Some hostage families have blamed the government of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for wanting to continue the war. Aviva says all world leaders could do more.
We need them back. I think that the leaders and everybody have spoken enough. A half a year is a lot of words to say, a lot of time to say whatever they want to say. I want a better life for the people that live in Gaza, that aren't terrorists. I want them to have food. I want them to have water. I want them to have houses. I want them to live. People live once. So I want for them a better life too. Not only for me and my family,